we're going to continue on. And we solved for the change in x. We solved for the change in y. Now we're going to plot it on our graph here. And remember, this is just a regular graph. Everything we've done so far has been on simple mechanisms to display, otherwise known as G. It's ordinate, it's abscissa. It's getting back to what you were supposed to have learned in middle school. So anyway, we had a bearing of south 51, 20, 24.6, east. So south and east. And we went 6.403, whatever. It can be feet, meters, varas, poles, whatever you want to measure. So we're solving for the change in the y value and solving for the change in the x value. Since we know that we are going south and to the east, we know that we're going east, therefore x is positive. We're going south, therefore y is negative. It'll work that way every time. So when we did our solutions before, we had a +5 on the x-axis, that's the x-axis, and we had a -4 on the y-axis. So therefore our coordinates, if we're just starting with these values, are A is 1x, 5y, and B is 6x and 1y. Now this assumes, here's where we have to start using our heads. This assumes that that is always going to be 0. And that's almost never going to be the case. You're never going to start a traverse at 0. You're going to start it at some other point. And the reason that you're going to start at some other point is that you always want all of your numbers to be in quadrant 1. You never want to get into negative values. Now you can go down in value, but you never want to cross that equator or that meridian. That way you never have negative numbers to deal with, because if you have +2 and you subtract 4 from that, you end up with -2. Which, that's fine, but you lose your sense of how far it is from point to point. So anyway, because you're surveyors and not mathematicians, you're always going to try and keep it in quadrant 1. And, you know, hey, it's lazy, but what the heck, it gets the job done. So anyway, you could actually start here, and you do frequently with, say, a number like 10,000 north and 5,000 east at that point. Just as easy. It means that your points are going to be way over here, but what this allows is for all of your calculations to be in one nice, neat bundle, and you never have to show the rest, you know, where the 0 point is. You just have to show where you start. So I've talked enough on this. We'll do some exercises, and then we're going to start. We're going to do the figuring on how to go from bearing and distance to changes in x and changes in y, and changes in x and changes in y convert to bearings and distance. After we do that, then you can pretty well count on us doing a traverse, and it won't be a very hard one. I'll keep it as simple as I possibly can. So let's do some exercises. This was tape 4, and 5 and 6 are going to be fun. So get your calculator, your graph paper, and a fairly big eraser. And that should be enough to get this job done.